I'm in Moab, Utah. After about a month of travel, I left Minnesota May 21st, and today is June 28th or 29th. I just wanted to offer myself a reflection on the time. I like to journal, but sometimes doing it this way helps me tap into the fuller expression of it. And so I made a video like this when I moved out of my apartment recently, and being able to put the context, the character of that experience into something helped me process it later, because it was, busy. So I left home over a month ago, and road tripped to Denver, Colorado with friend Maddie. Visited my brother, visited her sister, did some hiking, drank a lot of matcha and decaf Americanos, and then Maddie flew back. I went home. I went on to San Diego, California. In the fall of last year, I booked a holistic lifestyle coaching course with Paul Chek, kind of spontaneously. And that was in Southern California at the end of May. And originally I thought I was just going to fly there, fly back, just do the thing. Didn't really think about planning it until it got much closer. And then as it got closer, I was like, well, I haven't been to Colorado in a while. Be nice to see Sam, my brother. I've been out there at least once a year, and it's always fun to witness what's going on. And then I was like, and I also want to study with this drummer in Los Angeles and get a feel for what it's like there. And so I started to think maybe I'd make a little route. And then I realized there's also a Vipassana meditation center in Joshua Tree. Been wanting to do a retreat for some time, and the stars had never made it clearer that this time of life was the right time to do that. So I should show you this. In Moab on BLM land, you can just drive your car out here and park, and this is where you are. I got a rooftop tent. This is my tripod, and this is the scene. Look at that. I thought to show you because I was sitting here and this water bottle started to glow, kind of red, orange. Which I'll give a tangent about water and then continue on the timeline. I got this at Erewhon yesterday, which felt like a pilgrimage. It's everything I'd heard about it and more, and I don't know that I ever need to go back. Got this water for the drive. Water for wellness, nano pure, restructured, hyper-oxygenated drinking water. Mineralized restructure with vortex, rose quartz, and sound frequencies. You can treat water to have different properties so that it has a different effect in your body. Kind of silly. There's research being done on the frequency of sound waves and how they affect water, and things are showing that like angry music causes the cell structure of water to like collapse, and like classical or nature sounds or things that are more organic and like precise in aligned with the universe, if you will, have a expansive, nourishing effect on the water, the structure of the water cells. Anyway, yeah, I made a road trip out of it because the only travel I've done in the last few years was touring for music, and that, while incredibly exciting, is not uh, not vacation. It's very demanding. So I wanted to just take a trip. I wanted to do some educational things for myself. I wanted to see some nature. I wanted to see the mountains, the ocean, the stars, um, and like lush forest. Uh, and I've done it all. I hit all of them. Um, so I feel really good about that. And the moon is out. Ugh, could talk about nature forever. It's beautiful. From Denver, stayed at Airbnb overnight in Utah just to sleep while I drove through, and then went on to San Diego, or Southern California. It's becoming more clear to me that there's like a separate strip that is Southern California. Uh, Stayed in Oceanside at an Airbnb, and then would drive to Rainbow, California, to go to Paul Chek's workshop. Um, if you don't know, Paul Chek is an interesting search. OG holistic fitness and wellness person, invented the Swiss ball, the big medicine ball or exercise ball, and has just lived like a very interesting life. But he does these courses and trainings to teach people. His career has been in helping people heal themselves, essentially, from physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, whatever friction someone might be finding. If you go to him, that's what he does his work in. But there are fundamentals to that process, and it's something I've been implementing in my life for the last few years, just figuring out health stuff and how to feel my best, how to make sure my energy is moving in the right direction, um, which has implications from every area of life. And if you focus on the basics, the essentials, it will just, your baseline will rise to the surface over time, which is proven true. Um, the last few years, it's been sleep, hydration, nutrition, movement in that order. My sleep has suffered lately, but honing in on each of those has opened up like new capacities of myself, as I'm not bogged down by just like stuck energy. I'm clearing my system out in the ways that I live my life, so that like the stress of life doesn't accumulate. As things accumulate in the physical body, they start to accumulate in the mental, emotional body. The spiritual body becomes less clear as the lower energies become more dense. And so I've been on this process of discovery, I guess, in learning about frequency and vibration and energy and how those things apply to being in a human body. Playing music is very clear to me. In my teenage years, how much the body is an instrument or a channel or like a conduit. Like when you're really playing, it feels as though something is like flowing through you. So that energetically was clear to me at a very young age, but I thought it was maybe exclusive to music or the spirit of the music or whatever language or context you could put that in. I spent a lot of time playing religious music, which has spiritual elements to it, but can sometimes not hit the not pass through the eye of the needle. But it does slip through. It slips through, and I always had a sense of that. Thought it was exclusive to music. To everything. Yeah, every element of life has that that creative and transcendent spark to it. If you decide, commit, and learn how to look and recognize it. Diversion. Did the Paul Chek workshop, learned about sleep, nutrition, hydration, movement, thinking, breathing, being able to start to recognize your inner sensing of the state of those categories is, I don't know if that's proper grammar, your baseline just increases over time. So we rely on a faulty medical system to tell us what we should be doing to improve our health, but it doesn't do that. It's proving not to do that. And so we need to take responsibility in understanding ourselves, because if we don't understand what we're feeling inside and how that relates to our well-being, physical health, etc., we won't be able to make informed, empowered decisions about our health. Down to like what we're eating and what we're drinking and how we're choosing to use ourselves, which requires a lot of responsibility and deciding to become more autonomous. But in a life that's so complicated, it's hard to apply that to all domains. But that's how I've integrated all the lessons I'm taking from this trip. I'll continue with the timeline shortly, but it's all one. Every facet of my life is like part of the same thing, the same unfolding of whatever phenomena is occurring in front of me. And so, yeah, it's all one thing. After the workshop, I left. I hung out in San Diego for like a day. I went on a very fun date. Shout out Brooke. Took me surfing. Talked about the world and the environment and just making sense of it all. And then I went on to Los Angeles. Stayed in Redondo Beach with a friend's family. They have a sick, like, one bedroom off of their house that they let people stay in. Thank you, Spaldings. And yeah, I got to stay, and I drove up into the city for the first few days just to like check out coffee shops, drive around, see the sights in the different streets, and just see the character of the town. Wild character. Took a drum lesson with that teacher, Dave Elich is his name. And basically, I've been dealing with like chronic pain, especially as it relates to the drums, for the last few years, and being fully upright in a body and transmitting force without it coming back into you with negative consequences, essentially. Drums are really physical. You're hitting things, and if your body is not flowing with that, if you're using yourself in a collapsed way, the force and the energy of that will go into joints and tissues and cause havoc over time. So you want to be able to like transmit like Tai Chi, the energy of the playing. So Dave spent the lesson like tapping on my fucking body with his drumstick or his fingers, like, relax, relax this, relax this, relax. And then picking up sticks, applying it to physically sitting on a drum set, how those interactions relate to those places that you hold tension. That was eye-opening. Yeah, it was eye-opening. Dave is a super cool guy, and just, yeah, good energy to be around. I have a lot of applying to do. I've taken 2 lessons, and there's just like so much foundational work of just like sitting at a kick pedal relearning essentially how to use the kick pedal in a way that is like balanced with how energy exchange works. It feels really good on the instrument, which allows you to like dance with it a little bit, which I think is fun. There's more dance in music. Then I hung out with my friend Sammy. Had quite the saga hanging out with Sam in LA. Showed me around, introduced me to people. Yeah, saw the sights, caught up in life, and just talked about like paths and what it all is, and very cool to see the life that he's building for himself. He's a fun one. I then, in the midst of that, went on a date. Like the most spontaneous date I've ever been on, but like suddenly the most intense date I've ever been on. Yeah. There's so much to say. You know, there's like nothing to say. Just like meet a person that you like can see so fully, so immediately. And I just had no expectation. And then it was like, oh, I have become something. I have become something that would attract this. This kind of experience. It's like it being in the frequency of love, like very easily. I've become something like a younger me never would have thought would be possible. Yeah, very grateful. And then how I could do this to myself, I don't know. We spent 28 hours together, and then I had a day to run errands, and then I was entering a 10-day silent meditation retreat, which leading up to it just felt like, yeah, this makes sense for me. Now afterwards, I'm like, I put myself through a lot of shit, a lot of change, a lot of like traveling, navigating, logistics, experiencing, being in the moment, like curiosity over weeks of like moving around, to then decide to sit on my ass for 10 hours a day for 10 days, watching my fucking breath. Like, what did I think that was gonna do to me? And I knew what it would do to me. It was an opportunity to practice. Meditation has been something I've done for a few years now. And just sitting down to deliberately like uncover stillness or remember stillness. Doing that deliberately for that amount of time, like just release and stuff. I think I experienced lifetimes. Even if it was just my sense of passing time, like so much happened in an hour of sitting in my mind, watching my mind unfold, that it felt like a day. And to then connect to the awareness of what is behind that thought, and just being like, this is all timeless. I'm just here existing and watching what is passing. This technique is called Vipassana. In a 10-day course, there's a structure. You spend the first 3 days observing the area around your nose and the area inside your nose structure of the breath, the temperature of the breath, the pace of the breath, and there is no breather. There is no breathing happening. There is just the breath moving in and out of space. And it happens naturally. There's a natural, subtle breathing that happens when you really slow down and let the autonomic system of the body just do it. We're often breathing to over accommodate the demand of the environment. Overbreathing is a thing that breathwork people talk about. You can look that up if that's interesting to you. But being slow requires an immense amount of concentration and practice and being able to take what you're learning off of the cushion into life. So after 3 days of simply paying attention to that, when your mind gets distracted, just bring it back. 3 days, no thought about anything else. Hips are in pain, hips are dying. They subside after 2 days. Knees are like, dude, what are you doing? Back is like, I want to be upright so bad, but like it's so hard. Just navigating the like tensions that exist in the body that like want to be moved towards uprightness. There's this thing subtly happening. But then you're experiencing the aversion to what is in the way of that, which is usually pain or tension or something that can be observed as physical phenomenon. But in Vipassana language, there are things called sankharas, which are like past energetic afflictions, essentially, or psychic afflictions that have been stuck in your being. And as you sit and observe, you experience them as dense sensations. And if you stop being attached to holding on to it and just observe what it wants to do naturally, you don't want it to change, it will relax, essentially. And like energy will just move. Yeah, I experienced lifetimes, and maybe they were all mine, maybe they were before me, maybe they're like ancient patterns of energy from the beginning of the universe that are like my field. I don't know how to put that. I hope the air is not too loud right now. It just picked up. I'm wondering now if I should even watch this back or if I just post it. Third day, you start to pay attention to the lip, sensation of the lip. Fourth day, you start to pay attention to like this triangle area and the sensation of it. So before you're feeling the breath mostly and the movement and quality of the breath, then you're starting to feel subtle sensation, which is like could be tingling, numbness, tension, could be like bright, could be relaxed or warm. There's many qualities that are all kind of subjective. Every person feels them differently. So you begin to tune in, not to change anything, but just to recognize what's already naturally occurring. And when you get distracted from observing that, come back to the breath, get back into the sensations. Days 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, they introduce Vipassana. Previous technique, air at the nose, Anapana. Vipassana is essentially body scanning. We're starting at the crown of the head after sitting up as reasonably straight as you can. Feel sensation at the crown of the head. I like to feel like from my pelvis, like an upward sensation at each part of my spine until I reach that, and then the crown. Then I try to stabilize this on my sits bones, and then once I take a few deep breaths there, I'll start to feel sensation of the crown of my head, and then you move it around 2 inches by 2 inches until you cover the whole top of the head, This could take 15 minutes. You're sitting for hours at a time. Then you move down the face, each part of the face. Then you go down the throat, and then you go down the arms. Then you go down the front of the torso, then the back of the torso. Stick with me. And then you go down one leg. They start with the right, but I think it could be either. Go down the other leg, then start back at the top, do it again. And you're noticing again, like, is there subtle sensation here? Does it feel open? Is it dense or gross? Pain, tension, tightness. They have a bunch of words to characterize sensation. Go down a bunch of times, down on both sides. Then you start to go down and up, down the body, up the body, feel all the sensations. If something wants to move or relax, you just kind of allow it, remaining in the most upright position that you have access to. And then you start to go down and up symmetrically before you were going up independently. Up, and if you can feel subtle sensation through a symmetrical pattern, that's pretty good. But not good is an attachment to like a better state, but that is what you want, to be able to start sensing energy so that you can move it around appropriately. Then the last day of the retreat, you break the noble silence. This whole thing is silent. You're not talking to anyone. You're not looking at anyone. You're not gesturing to anyone. You are instructed to behave that you are in your own world completely for 9 days. There's a 4 a.m. bell, wake up bell, 4:30 meditation in the hall for 2 hours, breakfast, little break, meditation, could be in your room or in the hall, an hour, group meditation, an hour, and then 2 hours of independent meditation after that. So like 4 hour stretch of meditation. Lunch, I think. I might be getting the order mixed up. Lunch, more meditation. Tea break, more meditation. Discourse at the end where the teacher talks. It's all video recorded. It's kind of Goenka. And then bed at like 9:30 or 10. And then 4 o'clock bell. And that is sit all day. Like, I love thinking. It's one of my favorite things to do. I have a very creative mind, and it's fun for me to consider the ways that things are and the ways that they could be. So just for fun, like I spend a lot of time considering ideas. So to sit down and be like, oh, finally, I have time to consider my ideas was like, it was absurdly frustrating to me because I had just experienced like 2 to 3 weeks of travel, experiencing a lot, and I needed to like not replay them, but like just process all the experiences I was having. When you're in your day-to-day, when I'm in my day-to-day, speak for myself, I just get into repetitive patterns of being, and it feels like less information to process for some reason. Maybe I'm not using my time as effectively as I could. That would be a good indicator. Like experiencing a lot through travel and then sitting down on my ass to like watch it all pass by. Absurd. And just like kind of accidentally experiencing this like just the transformation of myself I witnessed in that period. Needed to integrate. It is so dry out here, and I don't know how much water I drank today, but it wasn't enough. It's like 100 degrees all day. Puts me in some kind of like haze almost. It's just hot. Maybe that's heat exhaustion. Oh, y'all just ever stretch your fucking spine out? Oh, it feels so good. I'm so blessed to be here right now. There's not a soul around. The stillness here is insane. I was sitting facing that way earlier and just being in my direct experience, and it felt like my ears like closed, and I was just in this bubble of pure bliss and peace, and everything was right with the world. I heard some meditation teachers yesterday talking about Dzogchen specifically. It's a teaching in Tibetan Buddhism, a school of teaching. And one of the teachers that Sam Harris, is his name, had studied with is Tulku Urgyen Rinpoche. Rinpoche. I don't know that I've said that out loud ever. Tulku Urgyen Rinpoche. He had a line that said, "Desire nothing but your own awareness." And I think I experienced that as I was sitting here listening to the wind and just this silence, and like the air has a quality to it, but it's still. Like I can hear it with my ears, but it's still. And my ears just like calm down to that singular frequency. Pretty cool. There's so much stimulation in this world. It's hard to go around the world, around your life, around your world, with just taking in information. Like having trained my ears as a musical person, like I hear so acutely and so finely detailed shit that this is gonna sound like the most, like, maybe arrogant, I don't know. Like I hear shit when I walk around the world that's like dissonant. I can hear dissonance, and I think it relates also to like how I perceive the coherence of the environment. And as you start paying attention to environments and whether they're coherent or dissonant, and like how it relates to peace and harmony, if that's what your orientation is towards, the sensations of your body and the things that your senses pick up will guide you towards that if you're paying attention. Oh, and I feel like I can talk loudly and my voice just disappears, and it's one of the most fucking freeing things I've ever experienced, because it's just here and gone. I can just say this shit and then it flies away in the wind. Oh, and if that isn't a beautiful demonstration of impermanence, I don't know what is. Vipassana is all about impermanence in Pali, the original language. They call it anicca. And anicca means impermanence, which is that everything is arising and passing away, and it is one of the laws. I can't remember if he says laws of nature, but everything in every instant, every moment is arising and passing away. Sensation, phenomena is just here and then it's gone. A thought, if you don't entertain it, flies away. My water's out. I need more water. I'm a baby. My God. Okay. You need to see this again. You need to see this again. And then I'm going to get up here. And I'm going to be like, yo, check me out. 2017 Instagram influencer. And then I'll be sleeping here, looking at the coolest stars. And then I will fall asleep in peace and harmony. I had one of the craziest experiences with stars in my life in Glacier National Park. I've been telling this story a lot and it feels good. It reminds me of some truth. And that is that when I was in Glacier National Park in 2016, went on a road trip with friends Mike and Luke. Shout out Mike and Luke. We camped in Glacier and we were laying in the parking lot at Mini Glacier, the lodge parking lot, all the way down. Just laying at the back of the parking lot, looking at the sky, and it was the most vivid night sky I've ever seen, and I could see the distance between stars. I could perceive the distance between the stars, which then, if I reached my hand out, my hand became part of the distance between the stars, and I recognized that I was one. I was part of the stars, the universe. There was no separation between like my little part in it and my beingness of it. I didn't realize that at the time. I just thought, oh, wow, nature's cool. There's something about nature. There's something about nature. I had that experience in Australia when I lived there also, sitting on a surfboard in the ocean, feeling the waves, and I had just removed myself from a lot of context that I was really familiar with. I was completely plunged into something new. Didn't know a single soul. Sitting out there in immense uncertainty. Where am I? What have I done? I don't know how to surf. Is there a shark? Like, everything was up for grabs. And to feel the pace of nature and the stillness of it, just like, it did something. Now I'm wondering if I put the camera back the same way and if it's going to be upside down. That's funny. So going to San Diego, I'll say it again, sitting on a surfboard, did it. Seeing the ocean, did it. I rolled into San Diego. I got a massage immediately, of course. Sitting in a car for days. I've needed it. And then I walked down to the ocean, and I got there, and maybe it was the tension or toxins released from the massage. Maybe it was that I've been in the car all day and for the last few days, and just life just hit me. I just started crying. I saw the ocean, and I was filled with joy, and I'd never felt so much of a like full yes moment in my body. Like brain, heart, like organs, like gut, all agree with this thing that's happening. And I don't know if that was a sign or if it was just a physical, like a psychosomatic recognition of some previous experience. I don't know what meaning to make of it. I liked it, and I want to have more of that. Vipassana. I went to the teacher on the 6th day when I had reached the limits of my mind. And I said, I came here to practice, and I sit down and I don't want to practice. What's up with that? And he told me, busy mind, tense body, mind notices body, more tension, forgive the correlation, essentially is what he said, which makes so much sense, because if you're sitting as upright as you can and you have tension in the mind, it will contribute to tension in the body in some way. And as you notice the body, you just be curious about that sensation, see if it wants to relax. Something about the mind relax. It's this mirror relationship. And I have been really hard on my body because I'm working towards it changing. I have been for many years, and changing in a way that increases my energetic athleticism and capacity to move through the different domains of my life equipped and ready to perform or to do what must be done, and to have fun and to not be in pain. And hearing that from the teacher, the forgiveness thing, I just that was a key. That was a key and will be a key forever, probably. Don't judge the things that come up in you as you grow and change. I'm not gonna tell you what you should do. I'm not gonna do that anymore. And then after that, those 2 days, I was just grateful and way more equanimous, which means steadiness of our mind despite circumstances. So neither attached to pleasant or averse to unpleasant. Clinging and aversion, or craving and aversion, are what those two are called. This language technique. And so you notice where the mind and where the body are craving or what they're averse to as you pay attention. Do that for a bunch of days. Great. Body dissolves into a cloud of sensations. The boundaries of what you think you are or you are dissolve into just a field of energy. That'll do some stuff. That'll unlock some stuff in you. Let me tell you. The 10th day, you break noble silence. You can talk to the fellow meditators. Wild experience, talking on a very precise, intimate way of looking at life in the world through the lens of sensation and observation and insight. It was so cool. And to walk around these people not paying attention to them all week, but picking up mannerisms and the way that they move and stuff, and just overall energy. You see every part of humanity in them, and you experience all the parts of your humanity as you sit in silence observing them, because any discomforts, tensions, thoughts, memories that are wanting to come up in your unconscious will, and you practice not entertaining them, coming back to the breath, observing them, and then not reacting. You can respond then from a grounded place. Good time. I was a punisher about meditation a few years ago when I got into it. And I was like, everyone needs to do this. This is crazy. It'll change your life. And I just practiced, and I hope that it translates to how I am off the cushion. Life is the practice. Cushion is just sometimes you need to train a little harder. I had something so good to say. It must not have been that good. I think it was probably good though. After the retreat, I got a lot of contacts, and it was so helpful to talk to people and just be like, I kind of want to move to Los Angeles. How do I do it? And to hear different perspectives was very helpful. People just, you figure it out. Life figures itself out. You just put yourself in places, and it unfolds. Went back, wanted to clarify some things, and had a valuable time, but challenging time in coming out of this retreat having just become really sensitive, just spent a lot of time slowing down completely to come back and experience like a little chaos disorder that is the modern world and just its inputs, and to jump into or witness other people's lives. Kind of a trip, and hard to not share that level of awareness with people close to me, which I've been texting people from the retreat a little bit, and that's super helpful, just to like we're trying to be in this space still, right? Pointers back to the space. And I didn't get what I wanted from coming back, but I'm glad I did. I had a strange bender just hanging out the last like 3 days. Did a little bit of work, drank some coffee. I hadn't been drinking coffee, like caffeinated coffee. I drank a bunch of coffees and it was so good. But I didn't have any until like late this morning, and I felt completely fine. I wasn't craving it, and I wasn't like, oh, I need it. It was like, I could take it or leave it, but it would be nice. So I did that nice thing for myself. Probably helped me through the drive. I'm feeling a little sleepiness come on. I think I have like 6.5 hours to Denver tomorrow. I should stay there for a few days. Left Los Angeles yesterday. Went to Erewhon to get some supplies and just looked at everything. It was such a joy. I fucking love Erewhon. And then I dipped, and then I bought this fucking rooftop tent. Wow. I might cut that one out. Sometimes you swallow wrong, you know? Got this rooftop tent in Crestline, California. I had no idea this place existed. Beautiful little forested like mountain town near like San Bernardino, I think. North of Los Angeles. I drove out there. I found this marketplace for a good deal, and was like, this would make the last few nights of my trip so sick. And then I'll sleep in it all summer. And I looked at the stars last night, and dude, just like, what a canopy to fall asleep in. And I know this area near Moab has like some of the clear skies at night, I think. So I'm stoked. The moon is like not that bright. It's a little crescent. I don't know if it's waxing or waning. The shape is on the right side, like the bottom right, whichever one that is. Yeah. Good stuff. Oh, I forgot to mention after the meditation retreat, I spent the night at an Airbnb in Joshua Tree just to like regroup and organize my suitcase and do some laundry and like be away from people and everything and just like be in my own experience. Like desert Airbnb, very remote. There was like a cowboy tub outside, a big metal thing with like water in it that I like took some dips in. There's an outdoor shower, some hammocks, laid in a hammock and smoked a joint and just looked at the sky. I have not been smoking for a while, because I know that there's like some stuckness I need to face, like that creates anxiety or paranoia, and no, that cannot roll down. That is a glass bottle. water tastes like a vegetable. It's like a vegetable. I'm just looking around and it's like, it's absurd that I'm here. I'm gonna wake up to the sickest fucking sunrise tomorrow and just see it crest over this fucking canyon. Are you kidding me? Ugh. Can't believe I'm still talking to a camera. My future me is gonna love this. That's why I'm talking to the camera. Loves to see it. Yeah, left LA. Was like, I think I moved. This felt a little heartbroken, but also like grateful, and I think that's okay. I think that's okay. The sky moves a lot these days. The stars. A lot of satellites and things that we don't we don't really understand happening. The sky's changing though. It's good to watch it. I learned so much about astrology. Everything everyone says about Los Angeles is true, by the way. Because it's a simulation. Every option, I can't say that with certainty. A lot of the options of how it is to be a person, the choice that it is to be a certain kind of person, exists in Los Angeles. People are just choosing. Oh, I'm this. This is what I'm doing. Here's the thing that I'm providing, and then they be it. And that's very reductive, obviously. People are universes, but like everything's going on. I didn't know how to follow it all. I'm a guy like I wanna walk down the street and like look at everything. Like I'm walking in a neighborhood, like I wanna see the architecture, I wanna see the colors of the houses, I wanna see if there's any like cool landscaping or like design. I'd be curious to see like what cars people drive. Um, just it creates like vignettes in my head of like what is possible, what choices for being human are possible. I do this all the time. Why didn't I get to that? Oh, so Los Angeles, like I can't put together the story, the picture of the land if I'm not like looking at everything. And I don't like to go off of landmarks. I just like to go off of like what's in front of me. Which Minneapolis I've taken for granted that I know how to get around. I can drive around anywhere reliably without a map, and I can just get myself where I need to go. I would be so fucking lost in Los Angeles. Like, I started to get familiar with some streets, but like, there's infinite neighborhood streets. There's just like, I would need to like get a bike and ride up and down every street to know what's going on. Biking around LA would be crazy. There's no bike infrastructure. Maybe there is a little bit, but I didn't really notice it. Wow, I've never thought about bikes this much. Go Minneapolis. I need to fucking get in bed. But I'm going to Denver tomorrow after my hopefully awe-inspiring morning. And then I'm gonna hang out and do just prepare to go home and do my admin shit. So I'm set up and probably clean my car, clean it out. Hope to get a detail. Life's a lot, y'all. There's so much happening all the time, looking around the world, and I know that I find the most peace that passes understanding when I just like am immersed in my own direct experience. Anything outside of that is like narrative, and that is usually has an emotional quality to it, and it usually isn't the purest representation of what is actually happening if you really start to look closely at the views that one holds. As I look at my views, I'm like, wait, why do I have that view? Who does it serve? Does it serve the whole? Does it serve the all? Who's to say? Oh my god. It's so dark. Yo, 57 fucking minutes.